A fresh political explosion is ripping through Hollywood, and this time, one Baldwin brother is putting Jimmy Kimmel directly in the spotlight. Actor Daniel Baldwin, best known for Homicide: Life on the Street, is now publicly accusing the late-night comedian of helping fuel the toxic political climate following the assassination attempt on President Donald Trump. And Baldwin did not hold back. Speaking on the Daniel Baldwin Show, the actor questioned whether Jimmy Kimmel understands the impact of his nightly attacks on Trump and his administration. Quote, "Does Jimmy Kimmel not realize that when you keep bombarding in every one of your monologues and planting this kind of hatred in the American public, someone might act on that?" End quote. That line instantly ignited debate online, because Baldwin wasn't directly accusing Kimmel of carrying out violence, but he was asking whether influential public figures should be thinking harder about the consequences of their words. And according to AOL, Baldwin made that distinction very clear. Quote, "Did he do it? Yeah, he didn't do it," Baldwin said. "But did he play a role in it? Does he care that he played a role?" Then came the line that changed the tone completely. Quote, "I'm sad, man." The comments come after the attempted assassination of President Donald Trump, a moment that has already sent shockwaves through America's political and media worlds. Now Baldwin says the culture surrounding political commentary has crossed a dangerous line. The second oldest of the famous Baldwin brothers, Daniel says he became a conservative back in 2016, and according to him, he has never seen public figures speak so casually about political violence the way they do now. He even recalled hearing disturbing comments while working on film sets, where celebrities allegedly joked about politicians being harmed. Quote, "Your voice carries weight. Your words have followers and people." End quote. And for Baldwin, this isn't just about politics anymore. It's personal. The actor admitted the current climate has changed how he feels about his own profession. Quote, "I used to be proud to say I was an actor. You walk into a room now and say, yeah, I'm an actor. It's not something I'm as proud to say because of the hatred that comes out from that side." End quote. Then Baldwin reached back into television history, bringing up one of the most respected names in late-night entertainment, Johnny Carson. Baldwin compared Kimmel's style to Carson's response after the 1981 assassination attempt on President Ronald Reagan. Speaking at the Academy Awards just one day after Reagan was shot, Carson reportedly told the audience, because of the incredible events of yesterday, that old adage, "the show must go on," seemed relatively unimportant. For Baldwin, that moment represented restraint, decency, humanity, and he believes something has changed since then. Quote, "We never hated anyone. We never wanted someone to die or laughed about them dying. It's really disturbing to me." End quote. But while Baldwin is going after Kimmel, the late-night host still has powerful support inside Hollywood. A while back, actor George Clooney publicly defended Kimmel over backlash over a joke involving Melania Trump, adding another heavyweight celebrity voice to the already heated debate.
I grew up in a family that believed in participating in other people's trials. My father, when he was raising us, said, challenge people with more power than you and defend people with less power.
The controversy around late-night host Jimmy Kimmel is escalating fast, pulling in major names from Hollywood and putting U.S. President Donald Trump right at the center of the storm. And the latest twist, Hollywood heavyweight George Clooney has now stepped in, publicly backing Kimmel as the backlash over a controversial joke about Melania Trump continues to intensify.
Well, I don't worry about that. You don't worry about that, right? So either you stand for something or you don't. I mean, we all feel that way. If you don't stand for something, then what is the point of all of this? What is the point of doing this? So I'm always I'm very proud when I see people stick their neck out and stand up for things they believe in, even when I disagree with them. I think, well, good for you. You believe in something, you stood up for it, good for you.
This all comes in the aftermath of the shocking incident at the White House Correspondents Dinner on April 25th, where a gunman attempted to breach the event, sending security into high alert and triggering a wider political fallout. But the controversy didn't start there. It goes back to a clip from Jimmy Kimmel Live, recorded before the incident, which suddenly went viral afterward. In that segment, Kimmel made a sharp remark about Melania Trump, saying she had a glow like an expectant widow, a line that quickly ignited outrage. Critics slammed the joke as insensitive, especially after the April 25th shooting scare, while President Donald Trump publicly called for Kimmel to be fired, escalating the issue into a political flashpoint. And just as the pressure mounted, Clooney entered the conversation. Speaking at the 51st Chaplin Award Gala, Clooney drew a direct comparison between Kimmel's joke and a separate comment made earlier by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Leavitt had told Fox News on the red carpet before the dinner there will be some shots fired tonight in the room. Clooney addressed the comparison head-on. He said, "Jimmy's a comedian, and I would argue that Caroline Leavitt didn't mean shots should be fired. She was making a joke. Fair enough." But then he added a warning tone. You look at that side and go, well, jokes are jokes, but the rhetoric is a little dangerous, and we've seen it a lot lately. And Clooney didn't stop there. He expanded the conversation beyond just one joke, pointing to the broader climate of political language in the United States. He said, when one side is calling anyone they disagree with traitors to the country, which is a charge that's punishable by death just because they don't agree with someone, I think the rhetoric is a little too heated. And his conclusion was blunt. That kind of language, he said, can be toned down. But even as Hollywood voices like Clooney call for restraint, Kimmel himself isn't backing off. After facing direct criticism from both Donald Trump and Melania Trump, the late-night host returned to his show with a defiant tone. In a follow-up monologue, Kimmel doubled down, defending his widow joke and continuing to take aim at both the president and the first lady. Just days after a gunman opened fire at the White House Correspondents Dinner, late-night host Jimmy Kimmel is now pushing back hard against claims his comedy crossed a dangerous line. On his show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, the comedian addressed the chaos that unfolded when alleged shooter Cole Allen stormed the event, offering sympathy but drawing a firm line. I'm sorry that you, the president, and everyone in that room went through that on Saturday, Kimmel said, acknowledging the trauma inside Washington's most high-profile media gathering. But then came the pivot. Kimmel rejected outright the idea that his joke, calling Melania Trump an expectant widow, had anything to do with the violence that followed. Kimmel quipped, "If you want us to believe that a joke I made 3 days before this dinner had any effect on anything, then maybe someone should look into this psychic lady too." A direct shot, not just at critics, but at the narrative forming around him, after White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt slammed him for what she called promoting rhetoric that fuels a cult of hatred against Trump. The controversy traces back to a monologue delivered by Jimmy Kimmel on his show where he joked about U.S. First Lady Melania Trump during a staged White House Correspondents Dinner segment. Kimmel said on air, "Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania. So beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow." The remark, delivered shortly before the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting incident, immediately triggered backlash across political circles and the Trump family. In the aftermath of the shooting, Melania Trump didn't stay silent either. She went public, demanding consequences, and called Kimmel's words hateful, corrosive, and accusing him of deepening what she described as America's political sickness. Her message was blunt. It is time for ABC to take a stand. U.S. President Donald Trump escalated the attack on Kimmel and joined Melania in publicly calling for ABC and Disney to fire the late-night host over remarks made about the U.S. First Lady. But Kimmel wasn't backing down. Instead, he turned the argument back toward the White House, suggesting that if the conversation is about violent rhetoric, it should start much closer to home, a not-so-subtle jab at Donald Trump himself. And then came a twist that's fueling even more speculation. Kimmel aired a pre-shooting clip of White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joking on the red carpet that there would be some shots fired tonight in the room. The comment came minutes before the real gunfire began. Now, online, that clip is being dissected, replayed, and dragged into conspiracy-fueled debates. The White House Correspondents Dinner, meant to celebrate journalism, has now spiraled into something else entirely, a flashpoint of politics, media, and blame, with Kimmel at the center of it. And as accusations fly, one question is now driving the narrative. Was this just a joke taken too far, or is the fallout being weaponized in the chaos after the shots were fired?
Just on the rhetoric, you mentioned the First Lady and Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's comments were, "Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow." And he said this days before the shooting, but there does seem to be a normalization of rhetoric about assassinating this particular president. How can this administration try to put an end to this?
Well, I think you heard it directly from the president on Saturday night, Aisha, that in his words, we need to recommit ourselves as a country to toning down the rhetoric and to unifying around what makes our country great. That's true of everyone who works in this White House, but as I said, it's also true of everyone who has a voice and a platform across this country, whether you're on television, a podcast host, people listen, and when you have mentally disturbed individuals across the country who are listening to this crazed rhetoric about the president day after day after day, it inspires them to do crazy things. And unfortunately, it's not just the media, it is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years, and so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this president for far too long.